The sky over the city of Arendor had never looked more ordinary. Clouds drifted lazily. Sunlight spilled in golden streaks over the buildings, and children's laughter echoed from the playgrounds. Life moved with a gentle rhythm, the kind that humans often took for granted. Yet somewhere beyond the veil of the atmosphere, something watched. Something patient. Something hungry. Captain Alaric Vale stood at the observation deck of the orbital defense station, his gaze fixed on the blinking lights of distant stars. He had trained for decades, his hands steady, his mind sharp. Still, nothing in his experience had prepared him for the moment when the first vessel appeared. It wasn't huge, at least not by alien standards. Its sleek hull shimmered with a metal that seemed to absorb light, as if the universe itself had bent to conceal it. "They're here," whispered Lieutenant Mara Ellen, her voice trembling despite the disciplined calm she always carried. Alaric didn't reply. He only nodded, a subtle motion that seemed heavier than any word could convey. From the bridge, the crew watched as the alien craft descended through the atmosphere, breaking clouds with an eerie silence. There was no roar, no violent windstorm, just a graceful intrusion. And yet, the air was thick with anticipation, a tension that made every heartbeat feel like thunder. When the vessel finally settled above Arendor, a projection unfolded. Light refracted into a form that the human mind could barely comprehend. The aliens, if they could be called that, stood tall, their elongated limbs and iridescent skin almost hypnotic. Their eyes, luminous and unblinking, scanned the city below, calculating, evaluating, hungry. "I am Emrith," the projection spoke. The voice was both melodic and cold, carrying across every device in every language simultaneously. "We have observed your world. Your resources are sufficient for our needs. Surrender, and none shall be harmed." There was silence. Not a single soul in Arendor moved. Humans were a quiet species when faced with impossible odds, but they were never truly afraid. Fear, yes, but also resolve. Alaric stepped forward, his uniform crisp, his chest rising with a calm that hid the storm inside him. "We will not surrender," he said simply. His words were not shouted, not defiant in anger. They were a statement of fact. Humanity had survived worse. Humanity had endured, adapted, and persevered, and now it would endure again. The aliens tilted their heads. Curiosity, perhaps, or irritation. "Resistance is inefficient," Emrith continued. "You cannot oppose us. Compliance is your only option." Mara clenched her fist, trying to contain the tremor in her voice. "Inefficient? You don't know humans. You've never known humans." Alaric's eyes met hers. A flicker of pride passed between them. He remembered the words his father had told him when he was a boy. "Humans are not the strongest, not the fastest, but we are unyielding. The universe does not break us. We break the universe first." And now those words rang true. Across the city, civilians paused in their routines, sensing something monumental had begun. Children held the hands of their parents tighter. Vendors froze mid-step. Even the birds seemed to hush. Humanity, in that fleeting heartbeat, had never felt more alive. The aliens projected images of devastation, weapons that could obliterate entire continents in seconds, their brilliance like liquid fire suspended in the air. And still the humans did not flinch. Alaric turned to his crew, his voice steady, commanding yet gentle. "Prepare the city defenses. Alert every settlement. But more importantly, remind everyone why we survive. Not because we fear death, but because we cherish life." Somewhere in the darkness of space, the aliens paused. They had expected fear, despair, surrender. They had expected humanity to bow, to beg, to crumble beneath their technological might. But what they found instead was a quiet defiance, a stubborn refusal to be counted out. And in that moment, Alaric realized something profound. Humanity did not need to outgun them, outsmart them, or outrun them. Humanity simply needed to endure, to surprise, to exist in ways that no alien calculation could predict. The first shots would come at dawn. But tonight humans were awake and unbroken. And that, Alaric thought as he stared at the alien vessel suspended above the city lights, was the first mistake the invaders had ever made. Dawn painted the horizon with streaks of molten gold and rose. The city of Arendor glimmered under the morning light, seemingly unaware of the dark shadow hovering above. Yet within its streets, the pulse of humanity was stronger than ever, quiet, relentless, and unyielding. Captain Alaric Vale stood atop the highest observation tower, surveying the alien vessel that floated like a predator above his city. Its hull shimmered as if aware of every human movement, every heartbeat, every thought. Yet Alaric felt no fear. Instead, he felt the surge of a collective human will, the invisible bond that connected every citizen in Arendor. "Sir," Mara Ellen said, her voice still trembling, though determination had replaced her fear. "Our intelligence reports suggest they're scouting. They're probing for weaknesses, sensors, energy sources, infrastructure. They expect easy access, easy submission." Alaric's lips curved in a faint smile. "Then they've underestimated us, as they always do. Humans are unpredictable." The alien projection flickered in the sky again, more demanding this time. "Your defiance is illogical. Compliance ensures survival. Resistance ensures annihilation. Choose wisely." Alaric raised his voice, clear and unwavering, carrying across the city with the authority of certainty. "We choose life on our terms, not yours." From beneath the city, the hum of preparation began. Arendor was no ordinary metropolis. Its streets hid secret corridors. Its towers concealed defensive systems designed not just for war but for ingenuity. Humans had faced challenges before: earthquakes, storms, famine, disease, and each time they had risen, adapted, and endured. Now they would rise again, but on a scale the universe had never seen. Mara moved to the command console, fingers flying over controls, activating drones, decoys, and electromagnetic shields. "They think this is just a test of strength," she said. "They don't realize it's a test of creativity. And creativity, humans excel at." Alaric nodded. "Initiate Phase 1 quietly. We don't want them to anticipate our rhythm." From the shadows of the city, humanity's first gambit unfolded. Autonomous drones, sleek and nearly invisible, emerged from hidden launch bays. They projected holographic duplicates of the city, streets, towers, bridges, creating an illusion that Arendor was far larger, far more fortified than it truly was. Sensors aboard the alien vessel detected multiple energy signatures, multiple points of life, multiple potential targets. They paused, recalculating, unsure of which were real and which were illusion. Emrith's voice returned, tinged now with annoyance. "Deception detected. Logical assessment. Humans are incapable of sustained strategy. Probability of successful resistance remains negligible." Alaric's eyes met Mara's. "They think this is negligible. That is exactly why we do it." Across the city, civilians played their part without knowing it. Children were guided to safe zones, but along the way, their laughter and footsteps became part of the energy signature the aliens could read, blending real activity with fabricated movement. Vendors set up early, opening their stalls with exaggerated gestures. Humans, by simply being alive and unpredictable, became part of the strategy. For hours, the aliens hovered, observing, scanning, attempting to decode the chaos. And for hours, they could not. Every attempt to focus, to target, to predict, was met with disruption, small, human interventions that no alien calculation had ever accounted for. Then came the first strike, not a strike of violence, but of cunning. Energy pulses, designed to overload the alien sensors, rippled across Arendor's skyline. The holographic duplicates flickered and warped, and the vessel shivered under the interference. It had never experienced confusion on such a scale. Confusion was human territory. Confusion was their weapon. From the command tower, Alaric spoke again, softer now. Almost a whisper, meant only for Mara. "They came greedy, expecting surrender. They will leave speechless." But even as they celebrated the first success, Alaric felt the weight of the battle ahead. The aliens were intelligent, relentless, and utterly unfamiliar with human unpredictability. This was only the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new threats, new calculations. And humanity would meet each one, not because it was guaranteed to survive, but because it refused to surrender. In the distance, the alien vessel shimmered, silent and foreboding, like a storm contained in crystal. Its sensors would adapt, its strategy would evolve. Yet Alaric and his team had already planted a seed of doubt, an unquantifiable anomaly in the mind of the invader. Humans were alive. Humans were resilient. And humans, when united by hope, courage, and the refusal to be underestimated, were far more dangerous than the aliens could ever imagine. That night, as the stars reflected in the city's windows, Alaric looked over Arendor and smiled faintly. They've arrived thinking they own the universe. But the universe, it seems, belongs to no one. And sometimes the most unassuming creatures, humans, write the most extraordinary chapters. And somewhere, deep in the alien vessel, the first threads of uncertainty began to weave themselves into a growing storm of hesitation. The night over Arendor was quiet, almost deceptively calm. Streetlights flickered against the gentle breeze, and the hum of distant traffic seemed ordinary. But the city's pulse was anything but ordinary. Beneath its surface, hidden in tunnels, and under abandoned factories, humans moved with a precision that would have impressed the most disciplined military minds. Captain Alaric Vale walked among them, no longer confined to his command tower. Mara Ellen followed closely, her eyes scanning every shadow. They weren't out for combat yet. This was reconnaissance, learning their enemy in a way the aliens had not expected, intimately, personally, and with human intuition. They think they've calculated everything, Alaric said quietly. Every energy source, every weak link, every potential threat. But they cannot calculate spirit. They cannot measure defiance. They cannot predict ingenuity. Mara nodded. And yet they are learning, slowly. Every move we make, they adapt. They're intelligent. They're relentless. Alaric paused, staring at the distant glow of the alien vessel above the horizon. Yes, and that's why we must stay 2 steps ahead. Not in firepower, in thought, in creativity, in unpredictability. That is our battlefield. From the shadows, a group of young engineers emerged, carrying devices that resembled nothing more than modified communication drones. But in Alaric's hands, they were tools of disruption. Each device was designed to emit low-frequency pulses that interfered with alien sensors, causing confusion and hesitation. Humanity's strength wasn't in sheer force, it was in adaptability, in seeing possibilities where the invaders saw limits. As they activated the devices, the alien vessel shimmered. Its surface rippled unnaturally, as though its solid metal hull were suddenly liquid. Emrith's voice resonated across the city, this time tinged with irritation. Your attempts at interference are noted. They are insignificant. Compliance is inevitable. Alaric's jaw tightened. Insignificant? Perhaps. Temporary? Maybe. But temporary can become decisive when wielded with precision. In the alleys below, civilians played their part, guided by signals from hidden transmitters. Schoolchildren carrying lanterns became moving decoys, weaving patterns that misled alien targeting systems. Street performers twirled and leaped, their movements amplified by holographic projections, creating ghostly images of masses where none existed. Humans were small individually, but together, they became chaos incarnate, a storm that no alien algorithm could fully predict. Hours passed, each one stretching into a tense rhythm. And then, the first real test came. Small sections of the city were illuminated by blinding light, an alien probe designed to identify sources of resistance. It moved with lethal precision, burning through any obstacle in its path. Panic might have spread, but Alaric and Mara had anticipated it. Focus on patterns, Alaric instructed. Not the probe itself, but the way it moves. Predict its logic and break it. Using mirrors, reflective surfaces, and even water in the streets, they bent the light, refracted its path, created illusions that made the probe seem to split, double, vanish. For the first time, the invader hesitated. Its sensors could not reconcile the chaos before them. In that hesitation, Alaric saw the glimmer of possibility. They think they can overwhelm us, he said, voice rising slightly. But this is our answer. Confusion, unpredictability, unity. They can destroy machines. They cannot destroy courage. They cannot destroy ingenuity. They cannot destroy spirit. Mara glanced at him, her eyes reflecting the alien lights above. Spirit, she whispered. That is what makes humans dangerous. Above, the alien vessel hovered, silent now. Its calculations were faltering, uncertainty creeping into the systems that had once been flawless. The invaders were intelligent, yes, but they had never encountered a species that fought not just with technology, but with emotion, with instinct, with determination. As night deepened, Alaric returned to the command hub, overlooking the city that was quietly alive with resistance. He allowed himself a brief smile. Humanity was not invincible, but they were unpredictable. They were unyielding. And that unpredictability was a weapon far more devastating than any alien technology. Somewhere in the alien vessel, Emrith's projection shimmered. Humans are illogical. Their resistance cannot be quantified. Strategy recalculation required. Alaric's eyes glinted with quiet satisfaction. Yes, he murmured. Recalculate all you want. We will not surrender. We will endure. We will fight. And when you will leave speechless. The night passed, and with it, a lesson was carved into the universe. Humanity did not require superiority and strength. It required courage, unity, and the unwavering belief that life, no matter how fragile, was worth defending. And tomorrow, the true battle would begin. The sun rose over Arendor, spilling light across the streets that had already become a battlefield of shadows and whispers. Yet to the untrained eye, life seemed to hum as usual. Market stalls opened, children ran along cobblestone streets, and the wind carried the scent of morning bread and dew. This, Alaric Vale thought, was humanity's greatest camouflage, the ordinary masking the extraordinary. From the command tower, Alaric and Mara observed the alien vessel looming above. Its sensors were now attuned to every fluctuation of energy, every deviation in human movement. They were relentless, and yet each scan revealed nothing truly predictable. Humanity had become a living puzzle, a chaos pattern the aliens could not solve. They're learning, Mara said, her voice low. They're adjusting to the interference, predicting the drones, analyzing the illusions. Alaric's gaze was steady, almost serene. Then we give them a new layer, not just interference, not just misdirection. We give them adaptability. Humanity fights not because it is predictable, but because it responds to the moment with creativity, courage, and intuition. In the streets, citizens moved with purpose, each action part of a greater plan. Engineers rerouted power lines to create sudden surges of light, confusing the alien sensors. School teachers led children through routes designed to resemble tactical formations. Artists painted large, reflective murals overnight that scattered beams of energy, tricking alien scanners into misreading the city's layout. Every ordinary human action had become a deliberate stroke in the canvas of resistance. From within the alien vessel, Emrith's projection flickered, more tense than before. Humans, unpredictable. Calculations unstable. Probability of complete assimilation, unexpected variable detected. Alaric allowed himself a rare, brief smile. They were feeling it, that unquantifiable, indescribable frustration that only human defiance could provoke. Suddenly, the first offensive move came, not with weapons, but with ingenuity. Using the city's abandoned rail network, humanity had constructed a series of high-speed platforms capable of launching electromagnetic pulses. These pulses were small, almost invisible, yet precise. They rippled through the alien vessel's shields, momentarily scrambling sensors and disrupting internal coordination. The aliens reacted instantly, unleashing energy beams toward the city. But Alaric had anticipated this. Civilians were guided to safe zones hidden within reinforced tunnels, and holographic projections shifted the apparent positions of targets. Each beam struck nothing but illusions, leaving the aliens momentarily disoriented. Mara's hands flew across the control console, synchronizing drone movements with pulse timing. "They're panicking," she exclaimed. "They're trying to predict human behavior, and every prediction fails." Alaric nodded, his mind already racing ahead. Humans are more than calculations. We're resilience, we're courage, we're spirit. The alien vessel shimmered violently above, energy cascading across its surface in visible waves of interference. Within the ship, confusion spread like wildfire. Protocols designed to enforce compliance failed. Calculations meant to anticipate resistance collapsed into uncertainty. And, in the midst of it all, Alaric's city moved with a harmony that no alien mind had ever encountered. Yet, amid triumph, Alaric felt the weight of responsibility. The aliens were intelligent, patient, and relentless. This victory was temporary. It was a warning, a spark in the darkness. Humanity had proven it could defend itself, but the battle was far from over. In a quiet moment, Mara looked out over the city. "Do you think they'll leave?" she asked, almost to herself. Alaric shook his head. "No, they came greedy. They expected easy victory. That's not how humans operate. They won't leave until they've understood that greed is powerless against spirit. And even then, they will leave speechless." The first day of resistance ended with no fatalities, no destruction, only a growing sense of awe at what humanity could achieve when united. Civilians returned to their homes, families gathered, and children unaware of the invisible war above them laughed and played. Life persisted. Human ingenuity and spirit had carved the first cracks in the armor of the invaders. As night fell, the alien vessel hovered silently, its surface dimming as internal systems recalibrated. Somewhere in its consciousness, calculations of probability were collapsing. Humans were no longer anomalies. They were variables the invaders could not contain, patterns they could not solve, and forces they could not command. Alaric stood atop the tower one last time, Mara beside him. Below, the city slept, breathing in rhythm with hope and courage. Above, the alien vessel shimmered, aware now that humans were unlike any species it had encountered. And in that silent exchange between city and sky, Alaric whispered more to himself than to anyone else. "They underestimated us. And they will regret it." The rising tide of resistance had begun. Humanity was awake. Humanity was unbroken, and humanity had only just begun. The third day of the alien occupation, or rather observation, dawned with a strange quiet. The city of Arendor seemed untouched, almost serene, but beneath that calm a storm of preparation roared. Humanity was ready, not to surrender, not to beg, not to negotiate, but to reclaim the narrative of the universe itself. Captain Alaric Vale stood in the command hub, overlooking maps, drone readouts, and energy projections. Mara Ellen moved beside him, her fingers flying over controls, her eyes sharp with anticipation. "They're starting to anticipate some of our maneuvers," she said. "We need a bold move, something they'll never predict." Alaric's eyes gleamed with that quiet intensity that had carried humanity this far. "Then we show them what humans do when their back is against the wall. Not with brute force, but with audacity." The plan was daring, almost reckless, but it was entirely human. Using the city's infrastructure, Alaric had orchestrated an elaborate trap. Autonomous drones would create a network of holographic decoys across the city, masking real human positions. Electromagnetic pulses would disrupt alien sensors at key intervals. And most importantly, the civilians themselves would participate, moving unpredictably, their daily lives now a weapon of defiance. From the observation tower, Alaric watched as the alien vessel descended slightly, probing, scanning, calculating. They were confident, arrogant, expecting to predict every human move. And yet, as the plan unfolded, their calculations began to falter. Mara's voice broke the silence. "Phase 1 is in place. Drones deployed, holograms active, civilians synchronized, pulse arrays ready." Alaric nodded. "Execute." Across the city, lights flickered, shadows stretched unnaturally, and illusions sprang to life. The aliens focused on multiple targets at once: energy signatures, holographic duplicates, decoy buildings, unable to distinguish reality from artifice. The vessel shimmered, struggling to lock onto anything. Then came the real surprise. Hidden within the city's subway system, humanity had prepared a network of pulse emitters capable of producing a sustained electromagnetic storm. Unlike the previous pulses, these were massive, powerful enough to temporarily disrupt the alien vessel's internal systems. As the pulses fired, the vessel quivered, sensors blinking erratically. Energy beams intended to strike the city veered off course, striking holographic projections instead. The aliens' perfect calculation faltered and confusion rippled through their ranks. From the command hub, Alaric leaned forward, voice calm but resolute. Now. Civilians, coordinated through subtle signals, began moving in synchronized patterns, creating the illusion of vast armies across the city. Drones buzzed like swarms of metallic bees, drawing alien attention in impossible directions. The aliens for the first time hesitated. Their intelligence could not predict the creativity, courage, and determination of a species that fought not for conquest, but for survival. Emrith's projection shimmered violently. Humans unpredictable, illogical. Interference exceeds parameters. Recalculation required. Alaric allowed a small, rare smile. They're learning, he said. They've never encountered something they cannot dominate. They've never faced a species that fights with spirit. Hours passed. The aliens attempted to strike back, but every move was countered, diverted, or rendered meaningless. Humanity's trap was complete, and yet even in victory, Alaric's heart remained heavy. He knew the aliens were patient. They would recover. They would return stronger. But for now, the tide had turned. Mara leaned against the console, exhaustion etched on her face, yet her eyes sparkled with pride. We did it. They're stunned. They don't know what to do. Alaric nodded. Yes, they expected greed to find easy prey. They expected surrender. They expected weakness. Instead, they found courage, unpredictability, and a refusal to yield that will haunt them far more than any weapon. From above, the alien vessel shimmered, pulsating with energy, scanning again, hesitating. Somewhere deep within, calculations continued, but the certainty had vanished. Humans were variables that no equation could contain, forces that no machine could predict. And below, in the city, life continued. Children laughed, parents watched over them, and streets teemed with ordinary acts of defiance that were extraordinary in consequence. Humanity had survived the first true strike of an alien invader, and in doing so, had carved the first victory from the jaws of the unknown. Alaric turned to Mara, his voice quiet but resolute. They came greedy. They expected surrender. They left speechless, and this is only the beginning. For the first time since the arrival of the alien vessel, hope surged through the city, raw and undeniable. Humanity had discovered a simple truth. It was not the strongest, nor the fastest, nor the most advanced species in the universe that survived. It was the species that refused to be broken, the species that adapted, endured, and fought with heart. And Arendor had just proven that humans were that species. The night sky over Arendor burned with the faint glow of alien energy, flickering like distant lightning. Humanity had won its first victories, but Alaric Vale knew that survival required more than clever tactics. It required daring, audacity, and a willingness to face the unknown head-on. Tonight, Alaric said, standing before his core team, we take the fight to them, not to destroy, not yet, but to show them that humans are not afraid. They cannot simply hover above us, calculating, waiting for submission. We will remind them that we are alive, and we fight with everything we have. Mara Ellen's eyes shone with determination. It's dangerous, sir. Even with our decoys and pulses entering their controlled space, one misstep and we're finished. Alaric's jaw tightened. Then we don't misstep. We innovate. We adapt. We endure. Humanity has never faced the unknown and bowed to it. Why start now? The team moved like shadows through the city's tunnels, their route hidden beneath layers of infrastructure. Civilians had been guided safely to shelters, leaving only the team, drones, and tactical equipment to navigate the labyrinth. Every step was silent, calculated, and deliberate. As they emerged beneath the alien vessel, the enormity of the ship struck them. Its hull pulsed with energy, casting eerie reflections across the walls of the tunnel entrances. Yet Alaric felt no fear. Instead, he felt the surge of possibility, the quiet thrill of facing a challenge thought insurmountable. Deploy the drones, Alaric instructed. They swarmed ahead, sending live feeds back to the team, illuminating the alien interior with infrared and holographic overlays. Every sensor, every corridor, every possible weak point was mapped in real time. The aliens, sensing the intrusion, activated defense mechanisms. Energy barriers shimmered and pulses of force rippled outward. But the humans had anticipated this. Using reflective surfaces and agile movements, they neutralized the pulses, turning the alien technology against itself in small but precise ways. Inside the vessel, Emrith's projection flickered. Humans and audacious, calculations insufficient. Variables, unpredictable. Adaptation, escalating. Alaric led his team into the vessel's control hub, moving with the quiet confidence of those who have faced impossible odds before. They weren't trying to destroy the aliens. They were sending a message, a demonstration of human ingenuity. Every device they touched, every control they interfaced with, became a conduit for disruption. Alien systems glitched, misfired, and faltered. For the first time, the invaders felt what it meant to be unprepared. Mara's voice trembled, partly from excitement, partly from the tension. They can't predict us. Every move we make, every improvisation, it breaks their control. Alaric nodded. Yes, that's the beauty of being human. We are more than logic, more than strength. We are creativity, resilience, and heart. That is why they came greedy, and that is why they will leave speechless. As the vessel pulsed with confusion, a small team of civilians, guided remotely, activated citywide energy amplifiers. The entire ship vibrated under the unanticipated interference. Alien projections flickered, calculations failed, and for the first time the vessel's internal systems could not stabilize. And then, Alaric did something even bolder. He broadcast a message not through alien translation devices, but directly, in every language, over every channel. We are humans. We are alive. We will not surrender. You may be powerful, but power alone does not conquer spirit. You came greedy. You expected weakness. You will leave speechless. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. The alien vessel hovered, unmoving, as if stunned by the raw audacity of the message. The invaders had never encountered a species so unafraid, so inventive, so unwavering in its refusal to yield. Mara exhaled, leaning against the console. We did it. We've made them hesitate. Alaric's eyes softened, gazing out at the city below. Not just hesitate. We've reminded them of something they cannot understand. Humans are not defined by strength alone. We endure, we adapt. We fight with everything we have, not because we are invincible, but because we refuse to be broken. And that is something no invader can conquer. The vessel pulsed one final time before retreating slightly, recalibrating and perhaps reconsidering. Humanity had entered the heart of the invader's domain and survived, not just with cunning and skill, but with courage and unyielding spirit. As Alaric and Mara led their team back to the surface, the first rays of dawn kissed the city's towers. Humanity had not only resisted, it had struck a message into the cosmos. Humans were alive, unpredictable and unstoppable when united by hope, courage, and spirit. And somewhere deep within the alien vessel, a single thought persisted: these humans are unlike any species we have ever encountered. The skies above Arendor shimmered with alien light, an eerie dance of power and anticipation. The vessel hovered, still recalibrating, still unsure, and yet Captain Alaric Vale knew that hesitation was a victory in itself. The invaders had underestimated humanity at every turn, and that mistake would echo through the universe. This is it, Alaric said, standing before his team in the command hub. The moment when we show them what it truly means to face humans. Not just with tactics, but with spirit. Not just with weapons, but with courage. Mara Ellen's hands trembled, her eyes shining with pride and fear alike. They'll try to strike first. They won't wait this time. They'll test us, harder than ever. Alaric nodded. Let them. We are ready. Humanity has endured storms, famines, plagues, wars, and yet here we are. Tonight the universe will see what humans can do when pushed to the edge. The city below had transformed into a living, breathing network of resistance. Civilians moved in precise chaos, guided by Alaric's command. Holographic decoys and drones created illusions of armies and fortifications, while real humans hid among them, ready to act with ingenuity. Every street, alley, and tower became a weapon of unpredictability. The alien vessel fired first, a surge of energy intended to cripple the city in a single strike. But the humans had anticipated this. Electromagnetic pulses rippled across key points, diverting the attack into harmless reflections, leaving the city untouched. Confusion spread like wildfire across the alien vessel. Emrith's voice came, strained and fragmented. Humans, illogical, unpredictable. Resistance exceeds parameters. Alaric pressed forward, rallying his team. Now is the time to strike, not with destruction, but with defiance. Make them question every calculation. Make them doubt every certainty. Show them the human spirit. Across Arendor, the final phase unfolded. Drones flooded the skies, creating a dazzling display of movement. Hidden pulse arrays disrupted the vessel's internal systems. Civilians, seemingly ordinary, moved with precision, creating impossible patterns that the alien sensors could not interpret. And above it all, Alaric broadcast a message: we are human. We fight not because we must, but because we choose to. You came greedy. You expected surrender. You will leave speechless. The alien vessel shuddered under the simultaneous assault of ingenuity, courage, and spirit. Calculations failed. Energy systems overloaded. For the first time, the invaders experienced confusion, hesitation, fear. Then, a brilliant wave of light erupted from the city's core. The pulse emitters, amplified and synchronized, sent a signal that cascaded through the vessel's systems, creating temporary paralysis. Drones struck decoys in a coordinated rhythm, while humans moved freely, untouchable and defiant. The aliens, masters of strategy and calculation, were forced to retreat, unable to comprehend the living, breathing chaos that humans had become. Silence fell. The alien vessel hovered, weakened, blinking uncertainly, then slowly lifted, moving back toward the void of space. Humanity had not destroyed it. They had not needed to. But the message was clear. The invaders had been humbled, their arrogance shattered, their assumptions about human weakness obliterated. In the streets of Arendor, people emerged from hiding, their faces alight with disbelief, relief, and pride. Children ran freely, unaware of the cosmic battle that had unfolded above them. Parents held each other, tears of joy and exhaustion streaming down their faces. Humanity had survived. Humanity had triumphed, not through raw power, but through courage, creativity, and unity. Alaric stood atop the highest tower, Mara beside him. The alien vessel was gone, disappearing into the stars, leaving only a memory of its arrogance. He gazed at the city, his heart swelling with emotion. They came greedy, seeking conquest. They expected weakness, fear, surrender. Mara smiled faintly, her voice soft but steady. And they found none. Alaric nodded. They found humans, alive, unyielding, indomitable, and when they leave, they will leave speechless. The sun rose, bathing Arendor in warm light. Humanity had endured its first true test from the stars, and emerged not just unbroken, but stronger. Across the city, across the planet, the message was clear. Humans may be small. Humans may be fragile. But the spirit within them, the courage, the ingenuity, the determination to survive was unstoppable, and somewhere beyond the stars, the invaders would carry that lesson forever. Never underestimate humanity. For the humans of Arendor, the battle had ended. But the story of resilience, of spirit, of ingenuity, had only just begun. The universe had seen what humans were capable of. And from that day forward, it would never be the same.